Hey everyone, it's James here, and in this video we're going to learn about how to use Ajax in an Express application. To show this, I have a sample Express application on the left here, and this application is actually connected to the code that we have, the Express code, on the right here. And right now we're looking at the /get route, which you can see on the right here is rendering index.hbs right here. If I look inside index.hbs here, we have a form. This form is currently connected to the /get a comment route with a post request, which has a single input box, which is right here. If I were to type in a comment, let's say first, and post, it shows up, it posts a post request. Let's try this again here. Give me a moment. With the network, let's post it again first. And you could see that how the connections have gone through our network, and that it goes to the get route here, which also then turns to the comment, which posts and redirects, but also goes to our comment array here through our comments.push, and appends it into this global variable. And after that redirects to our /route. We can see it's in action because our first request is first gone to the comment route, which is first, and then the second request that comes immediately afterwards is this get request, which is to /. This is the result of my Express application directing it to go to this after. Notice when this browser reloads, it actually reloads all the resources on the page, which include not only the HTML page, it also downloads the jQuery and the Bootstrap at the same time. So every time I perform an action in this application, I'm actually re-downloading all the resources on the page. And as you can imagine, as this application scales, all the JavaScript files, all the things is not manageable, and it becomes a lot slower and a lot heavier. So the question is, what can I do is to only make a single request, fetch the contents of the comments, and also update the page in place? Well, I can use jQuery with, jQuery and Ajax. So how can we use jQuery and Ajax to make more interactive and smoother Express applications? So first, let's first say that jQuery runs in the browser, and how we've learned in the previous video, we have to run jQuery in the browser. We have to do it in the HTML. So let's add a script tag in our HTML. So let's first do a regular and change the h1 tag, and to show you that jQuery is actually running the house. And if I were to refresh, jQuery is in the house. So, but if we were to actually go to the source of this application, let's go to elements down here and check the actual source of the page, view, edit, view developer source. You can actually see that comments is actually still part of is actually what the handlebars application is what says. So the application initially loads with comments, but immediately is changed by the script tag that says jQuery in the house. So if we refresh the page, you might be able to see, but it's too fast. So let's go back and say Now that because we know jQuery is also running in the page, and we press this post comment, we want to change the application from submitting here and change it to an Ajax request to the Express application to actually update the list of comments and finally insert the comments into the array. So let's do that step by step. So let's go to the so we'll first have to add an ID to our input box. So let's do ID is equal to post comment. And then let's add here in the script tag. And notice we'll have to do hashtag because we'll be doing how we learned before with CSS selectors, which is now the submit button in this case. Let's add a click handler. Click, as you might remember, you have to give it a function, which will take an events, prevents, defaults. This will prevent, as we've learned before, how do you spell default? Good. This will stop the actual page from refreshing. So if I were to post, now we have something else. So let's fetch the context of the input box. So we'll need another ID in the input box. So comments.box for our example here. And let's say let comments is equal to, let's select what's inside the comment box, which hashtag, which is how we select the IDs, and get the val to get the context of the box. So if we switch to our console.log comments, cool. And then refresh the page. Let's type ASDF post. And yes, it'll show up in the console. Perfect. So next thing what I want to do is actually update the page with our comments. And the way we're going to do that is by adding an ally to the list of comments. To do that, I'm going to need an ID for the list. So I'm going to do audit ID. Let's do comments list. So, and then I'm in the below here. I'm going to select that list again. So do let's do hashtag comments list and then dot append an li append an li elements with the text of, let's see, li with the text of the comments. So let's try. Cool, let's refresh the page and let's type more stuff in and oh, so here we have the typical issue that I accidentally placed it inside entire comment lists. To fix this, apologies guys, we're back. The main issue that I had previously was that I wasn't appending an actual list tag, but instead was appending li, which was selecting all the li's and just changing all the texts and wasn't appending it to the list. So, but now there's a problem though. If I refresh the page, all the previous changes I had before have now left. So now the issue is I haven't told the server anything about the changes that I've been creating. All I'm doing is reading the comments and the post comment that we were doing before and just changing the DOM. It's not actually letting the server know that these comments are appearing. So the comments array will only still have the very first comment that we had before when we were creating it and actually changing the backend. So to fix this, I'm gonna actually have to notify the server about this server with another Ajax request. So to actually receive this request, I'm gonna need a new route. So let's call this new route app.post Ajax comments, shall we? And then function rec res. And inside this route, we're going to have to do the same thing as before, is comments.push rec.body.comments, which is cool. And instead of redirecting back, I'm going to actually do res.json, and we're going to re-render the page, the comments with the res.json with comments. So this endpoint should receive the comment from the body and then update the comments and then respond with a new object and render it onto the page. So let's switch to the network and then add a Ajax request to the click handler. After the prevent default, let's do another Ajax request. Oh, an Ajax request, which is our, let's do the URL slash Ajax comments, which is going to be our routes that we showed here, and then go to the method and obviously post there. And then we're going to also have to give data, which takes an object, which will take the parameter called comments and there. So it'll be comments, and obviously I'm going to have to move this line before here. And now we're ready to submit the request. Well, actually, we also need to add a success handler, which will be function res, which also get the results. And in case of the success, I'm actually going to move this, update the list of comments. And if there's no actual success to this comment, I don't want to actually add it to the list. So cool. Let's refresh the page, and then well, actually, let's also show res here, and let's also do success. So let's recap. Let's go to, one second, the actual adding of this comments. Let's go to hello. This click handler fires. Give me a moment. Actually, add Ajax. Just refresh the page. Let's add hello. Ajax comments. Give me a moment here. All right, I found the issue. It was adding just the comments. This was previously comment and now comments. And now let's just check our application again using our backend Ajax request as our fetching method. And yes, it works. And with our network, we can see that the Ajax comments request is over here, the post request that we had before. It worked. And we also noticed that localhost and jQuery and Bootstrap were not reloaded every time that a post request was going for. So to recap, previously with the post request with just the /comments, works, and it did the exact same thing as what we're doing right now. But the problem was every time that we were using the /comments, it reloaded the entire HTML, which at the same time also reloaded jQuery and Bootstrap each and every time the page would reload. To prevent this, we used Ajax and jQuery to make requests that changed our backend without having to reload the page each time. Thank you.